Let's go through some of what has been uncovered with this USAID scandal. And of course, this is where your taxpayer dollars have gone through. We'll just run some commentary on some of these. Now, again, as Rick said, there's some good programs that were getting funded, and there's going to be other ways for that to get taken care of. But maybe in a less than shocking discovery, some of the most ridiculous ways your taxpayer dollars are being spent.
That's right. And now remember, this is an agency that is $50 billion annually. So their budget is pretty big.
Pretty big.
Now, when you start going through these, some of these may sound like small numbers to the government, not to us. But when you add them all up, it's absurd. And this is, as many people say, just the tip of the iceberg, because they're just digging through it. But there was $1 million grant just in the 2023 fiscal year to make disabled Tajikistanis climate leaders.
Yes.
So that was the specific purpose of that.
Yeah, so that says in 2023, Biden's USAID allocated up to $1 million in taxpayer funds, again, this is your money, on a project to help disabled people in Tajikistan become climate leaders. I don't you got to figure out how that program even exists.
Right.
Like, that's like 4 levels deep here. Okay, so that's one of them that you're going to.
And some brilliant grant writing right there. Someone wanting, we could really get some money from the government, because it doesn't seem like they deny anything.
Checks a lot of boxes. Well, that is one of the things Elon said, is it felt like when going through it, that things were not denied unless, of course, it didn't fit their political agenda.
There's $1 million for foreign DEI programs, including indigenous language technology in Guatemala. We have $1 million to a Hamas-linked charity. A $1.5 million effort to empower female climate activists in northern Kenya. $15 million for contraceptives in Taliban-controlled Afghanistan. Then we have things like this, $1.5 million for advancing DEI in Serbia's workplaces.
I think this is what people...
$6 million for tourism in Egypt.
Yeah, I think those are the things that people maybe they don't understand, and maybe I may have been ignorant to that as well, is how much of this is going outside of the country.
Right.
To things that really... don't really impact us at all.
Well, the entire purpose of it is outside of the country. Yeah. It's international development. Yeah. And it was created by executive order, this agency, in response to a law.
Dollars in general. I don't think people realize how much taxpayer dollars is going out of the country beyond helping our allies in wartime.
Military aid, things like that. No, it is legitimately nation building.
Funding nations,
what people criticized some prior administrations, even the Bush administration, for nation building and foreign adventurism. This is the type of stuff that you're paying for and have been paying for a generation, because it keeps going. There was $2 million to BBC to help favorable coverage on Libya. They're paying foreign news outlets in smaller countries for influence. It's propaganda spending.
The production of opium, it says on here.
Yes.
The primary ingredient, obviously, in heroin, and that was going to Afghanistan.
So this one is an interesting one.
Yeah.
They paid farmers that previously farmed opium 3 times the going rate to farm corn instead. What did the farmers do? Pocketed the money, kept growing the opium,
there's no
and sell it to the terrorists to make money on, to continue their terrorism wars. Yeah. So it is absurd, the amount of, there's no oversight, there's no vetting. It is taking your money and sending it out the door to every absurd thought you could have. And I even mentioned with Rick, some of these groups people have now been looking at. They don't have functional websites, but they're getting millions of your dollars. And then you think about, okay, well, they're helping empower. There was one that was empowering artisanal, small scale gold mining in the Amazon.
I mean, that sounds pretty cool.
Right. Why are we paying for that?
I don't know why, but I do want to do it.
But if you take that and you say, okay, they're helping grow small business in the Amazon. Okay, let's try to make it sound nice.
If you have an artisanal gold mining company in the Amazon and you're looking for an investor, hit me up.
Well, I think they already found the U.S. government that could do a lot more.
It's going to be gone, so they need some help here, because I don't know why. That just feels like something I want to put on my LinkedIn.
Yeah.
What do? I run an artisanal gold mining.
Well, but get this, then you think about how much money they're spending on these programs, and contrast that with how hard it is to get aid within our own country in Western North Carolina or L.A.
down the street
when there is a disaster for those small business owners who have lost everything. I don't think the $700 FEMA check or the $500 one in North Carolina are really going to help you get through all of this. And yet they're sending millions and millions of dollars out the door for literally worthless projects.
And these are those projects. Of course, President Trump had mentioned things like Politico. We know there's other publications that may get exposed soon for getting so much money from the government. There's no way that they could be not controlled. There's been discussions about NPR and PBS and the fact that they are getting a significant amount of their money from government funding and are not providing a equal platform. They're providing a very biased platform. We all know this when we're listening to NPR, PBS, great programming sometimes. I mean, they have some good educational documentary kind of programming. But then when you hear news coverage, it is always slanted one way.
Well, and I think also over the last generation or several decades, that NPR has gotten even more so that it was always left-leaning. I mean, I spent time there as an intern in college at the corporate headquarters at NPR. So I was in the belly of the beast, as they say. And it was much more hippie liberal then.
Yes.
It was much more peace and love liberal then. Now it is
bluegrass liberals.
Right. It is now radical, as far left agenda as you can get. So much so you have that whistleblower that left NPR because they would shut him down, who he himself was a liberal, but said they won't even pretend to cover things. They said, we want activist journalism. And that's the difference. Not that necessarily the federal funding of state-ish, quasi-state media was ever a good idea, but now it has gone so far away from the original mission that it's absurd.
Rick, I know this news is breaking, and obviously it's something that I'm sure you've had a lot to think about in terms of the USAID. For a lot of people, this is the first time they may even be hearing of this program. Of course, we all know government grants are happening and that kind of thing. But when it goes down to who some of this big multi-million dollar financial taxpayer dollars are going to, it can be a little alarming.
Yeah, look, I think that this is offensive and outrageous of what's happening in Washington. Democrats right now are defending the spending on ridiculous programs. These are highly partisan political programs, fringe programs, millions and millions of dollars to fringe political programs. And somehow the Democrats are acting like we're feeding kids in Africa with this stuff. Look, there are a few good programs at USAID that we could easily fund through the State Department or through the U.S. mission to the UN, other entities that are more appropriate. But right now, I think the Rahm Emanuel warning to the Democrats is very real, which is, here's a former chief of staff to Bill Clinton saying to the Democrats, be careful. You don't have to be outraged about everything. Sometimes the nature of what the Republicans are going after is good. Take a pass on this, because otherwise Democrats are going to be in the position of defending hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars of taxpayer money being wasted. And I would go one step further. I don't think this is just waste. I think that what Samantha Power did at USAID is about fraud. And we prosecute fraud in this country. There should be an investigation of how this happened and why this happened. And if it's proven to be for partisan nature, not for the benefit of the U.S. government, then there should be a prosecution of this. I believe that this has crossed the line.
We are so excited to announce the ACLJ's brand new app, completely redesigned to provide you with the best tools available to partner with us at the ACLJ. You can watch the daily Seculo program, sign the petitions, customize your ACLJ membership experience, donate with the click of a button, and receive up-to-the-minute critical updates that the mainstream media can't censor. Just scan the QR code on your screen or go to your phone's app store, search ACLJ, and click install. It's that simple.